Welcome to 10-Minute Fitness Tips, the show where you can learn a thing or two about fitness and the time it takes for you to get to work. I'm your host, Mark Torres, and today's podcast episode is called There's No Right Answers. Because there aren't. This world and everything around you is predicated on nuance and subjectivity. If somebody were to ask me if I want to go see the new Batman movie in theaters, I could say, yeah, because I love superhero movies. And those of you listening to the show may or may not hear sarcasm in that response. For those of you watching the show, maybe you see something in my face. So much of communication is nonverbal that it'd indicate if that was a sarcastic response or not. But if that was in a text and it said matter-of-factly, there's a pretty good chance that that statement would be taken at face value. One statement, so many possible outcomes and so many possible meanings. The same thing happens in fitness. How do we know the things that we know about fitness? Through science and studies, of course. That's how we know how to manipulate our weight. That's how we know how to build muscle. That's how we know about things like protein, all that fun stuff. But we live in a world full of global pandemics and life-threatening diseases. So, assuredly, there are a lot fewer scientists studying and dedicating their lives to how to optimally build muscle versus the amount of scientists studying to try to eradicate life-threatening diseases. So that means less material, less studies, less things for us to go through. The pool of science and studies that we can pull from is significantly smaller. That's not to say that we don't know anything about fitness. That's not to say that we're outright guessing. We have pretty good ideas. But those ideas are fewer and far between. So there is more room for interpretation than maybe some of the other scientific communities out there. And that might be the reason why you scroll on social media and you see one video saying one thing and another video saying the other. And it's hard to comb through all that stuff. It's hard to figure out what's right and what's wrong. One person saying one thing, the other person saying the other thing. At the end of the day, there are no right answers. The best answer, or the right answer, is the one that best fits you. What works for you might not work for someone else. What works for me might not work for you. So while you can get pretty close with science and studies, it's up to you to figure out what it is exactly that you want to do. So over the course of the show, I do want to get specific. I do want to get into the weeds of fitness. That being said, there may be some things that I say that you don't necessarily agree with. And that's okay. That's what we're here for. This show is here to provide you information, provide you the tools that you need. It's up to you to build the body that you want and deserve. If you enjoyed today's episode, consider hitting the subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening. And if you have any suggestions for the show, leave a comment on the YouTube channel or send me a message on any one of the social media platforms linked in the description down below. You never know, you might get your very own podcast episode. And that is today's 10-Minute Fitness Tip.